2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. And I know, Michele, you want to get right back into the questions with our guest.
I do. Thank you. Okay, so how many properties do you currently have, Mark? Not including your primary.
So I probably own currently over 200 to 300 properties at any one time that we're constantly buying and selling. We're trying to do a deal a day. So we're trying to buy a deal a day and sell a deal a day.
Okay, how many people do you have working with you? Because that would take an army. That's a lot to handle and to manage.
So we have a team in the Philippines, and we have a team in Jamaica, and we have a couple of U.S.-based people running the show.
Wow. Okay, so where you say Jamaica and stuff, so what areas outside of the U.S. and within the U.S. do you mostly look at for this raw land that you don't have to renovate, rent, or, the third R?
Rehab. Yeah, so, Michele, let's just be honest, right? Nobody wakes up and thinks to themselves, boy, I'd like some raw land today in Iowa, unless you live in Iowa. So we want to focus on the Sunshine States, New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, California, maybe a little bit in the Northwest, Washington, Oregon, and Florida. Did I say Texas? Texas and Colorado as well. So these are fast-growing states. These are the Sunshine States. And, I don't do deals in Canada because of the frictional cost of doing real estate in Canada compared to the United States. And there's billions of acres available in the United States, and I'm quite comfortable with the legal structure here versus Canada. So that's why I've never ventured outside of U.S. land.
So the same philosophy that you use, though, could be used with a Canadian doing it in Canada, the same type of thing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want, I can walk you step by step through exactly how I do it.
Okay, so you mostly focus in the U.S. then, it sounds like, for you personally.
I mostly focus, I only focus in the U.S., but we have clients from all over the world because you can run this business from anywhere in the world. You just need an inexpensive laptop and internet connection.
Oh, and that's pretty much everywhere, pretty much. So I have, my other question for you was, what is what's your favorite or best deal in your eyes? Because sometimes, success is different. It's in the eye of the beholder. So what is maybe one of the best deals that you've done, that you feel you've done?
So one of the best deals I did was in Nevada. I started buying 640-acre sections from the railroad. It was actually a public company that bought all this property from the railroad, and they were a company that wanted the mineral rights. They didn't want the land. So I came in there and negotiated, hey, I'll buy up all these sections for $30 an acre. And they said, well, okay, that's fine. And I started then subdividing those sections into 40-acre parcels. And so I then started selling those, and I sold those at $500 an acre. And on that one deal, I made over $5 million.
How long did that deal take you?
That deal took about 4 years.
That's pretty good return after 4 years. Now, is that gross or net?
That's net.
Oh, wow. That's really good, Mark. Okay, so you've kind of explained why land investing is a great choice because obviously the 3 R's. But so do you actually close on your properties and then like that one, you're reinventing them to be the best use and getting the most out of it. So you've got closing costs and you've got selling costs. Or do you do a mix of that as well as maybe like flipping where it's like paper? It's like you bought it on paper, but you haven't closed yet. And so you flip it and sell it to somebody else in the meanwhile before it closes. Which way do you do it?
Yeah. So if you want, we can use Curtis as a example.
Is this going to be a good example or a bad example? Because I'm often used as a bad example.
Well, I think you're going to be a great example.
Okay, let's go with it then. I'm good with this.
You're in Canada, right?
I am.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that you and your wife are vacationing in Texas, and you looked at this 10-acre parcel, and you're like, boy, one day, wouldn't it be great to live in Texas? And so you guys buy it. And then a few years go by, and you keep paying the property taxes on it. You're like, we're never going to use this property. So you start not paying your taxes. So you start getting notices from the county treasurer saying that if you don't pay your property taxes, you're going to lose that property to a tax deed or tax lien investor. And so I can see this on the public record. Oh, there's Curtis Pope. He owns 10 acres of raw land in Texas and owes $200 of back taxes. So essentially you're advertising two important things to me. Number one, you have no emotional attachment to raw land. You're in Canada, the property's in Texas. And number two, you're financially distressed in some weird way because we don't pay for things like our property taxes. We don't value them in the same way. So all I'm going to do is look at the comparable sales on your 10-acre parcel for the last 12 to 18 months. I'm going to take the lowest comparable sale and divide by 4. And that's going to get me what Warren Buffett would call a 300% margin of safety. So let's just use easy math and say the lowest comparable sale is $10,000. I send you an offer, Curtis, for $2,500. Now you accept it because for you, $2,500 is better than nothing. In reality, 3 to 5% of people will accept your quote-unquote top dollar offer. Now that you've accepted it, you have to go through due diligence or in-depth research. You have to confirm that Curtis still owns the property. You have to confirm back taxes are only $200. You have to make sure there's no breaks in the chain of title. There's no liens or encumbrances. And you can have this all outsourced to a team in the Philippines for $11. They're connected to an American title company. Or you can close traditionally through an American title company. They do all the hard work for you. So, Michele, I'm going to sell this property in 30 days or less, and it'll make a cash flow. I have a built-in best buyer. Do you know who it is?
Curtis.
Who?
No?
No.
No,
Am I
not
buying
Curtis.
my property
He's
back?
selling
I'm so
you.
confused, Michele.
He's selling you the property.
Throwing you for a loop. Okay, I'll be the one.
It's the neighbors. So I'm going to send out neighbor letters saying, here's your opportunity, protect your privacy, protect your views, know your neighbor. So oftentimes the neighbors will buy it.
Oh,
Now,
that's
if they
so
pass,
true.
I'll go to my, right? So I'll go to my buyer's list, or I'll go to a little website you guys may have never heard of because you're Canadian. It's called Craigslist. It's the 15th most trafficked website in the United States.
Oh, yeah,
And I'll
we
go
know
to
it, but we're more Kijiji here, but we know it.
We have Craigslist as well, but yeah.
I don't know. Have you? Then there's another website. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called Meta, the Facebook buy-sell groups in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have that in Canada?
Marketplace and Facebook yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. And then you're going to go to landmoto.com. Yeah.
So, okay, so that I can see that could be very profitable, and there's a lot of opportunities here. Is that what you, like, what about creating passive income by investing in raw land? Because that's
Michele, so that's what I'm going to tell you. So now, the way that I'm going to sell it, I'm going to sell it in 30 days or less, and I'm going to make a cash flow. So what I'm going to do is all I'm going to ask for on my pricing is a $2,500 down payment. And then I'll make it a car payment. Let's say $297 a month for the next 84 months. So it's a one-time sale. I get my money out on the down payment, or I could go 6 to 10 months out. And then I'm getting $297 a month for the next 84 months. Michele, no renters, no rehabs, no renovations, no rodents. And because I'm not dealing with a tenant, I'm exempt from Dodd-Frank, RESPA, and the SAFE Act, all this owner's real estate legislation in the United States. So it's a simple game. Can I create enough land notes where my passive income exceeds my fixed expenses, and then I'm like Curtis, working because I want to, not because I have to.
Nice. Curtis, you want to start doing that?
I do, but I'm still, I'm not as quick as you, so I'm still 3 or 4 steps behind in this process from what you were talking about, but I'll get there eventually. It sounds amazing.
Okay, share with us, Mark, how to invest in real estate with no money down.
Well, you need to have some money. You need to have money to send out a mailer.
I thought there was
I have clients who start with what's that?
I thought there was that crystal ball. You just wish for it and it's there. No, so it does take a little bit of skin in the game then, you're saying.
Yeah, I started with $3,000. I have clients that start with $500. But you need to have some money.
And a lot of people think that it's like the get quick, rich quick, right? It's, no money down. You do hear that a lot. I always say, it takes your first, down payment of 5%. Up here in Canada, 5%, right, is the minimum down payment. And not for raw land. That's different for up here. But if you're going to loan on something 5% down, the prices of things up here are different. But raw land, that's why there's a lot of aspects here. And I know we don't have time to go into all the fine details because there's taxes to think of. There's capital gains tax if you're going to sell it quickly. There's the GST on raw land, and then but if you just go do the paperwork, and so there's a lot of aspects here. If you close on it or don't close on it before you flip it or sign it. So what else can you share with us quickly? Because I think our time is about to end, and this just went by way too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that if you're interested in acquiring U.S. land, I do think that this is the best passive income model because of the simplicity of it. But I would warn people, there's nothing easy about it. So just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. And you certainly want to get educated on the process so that you can do it. But I can tell you, just a quick story, a client, Roberto Chavez, full-time attorney in El Paso, Texas, and working at a corporate law firm 50 hours a week. In his first year of land investing, he brought his passive income to over $10,000 a month and went from 5 days a week down to 3 days a week, helping his dad on his ranch. His second year in land investing, he brought his passive income up to over $25,000 a month. And then his third year, he quit his job, and him and his fiancée, Maria, are now traveling around the world. He's working on his land business part-time. He's created a passive income machine, and he's now got the trifecta. He's got time, money, and energy to live the way he wants to live in the peak of his life. And I think it's just a phenomenal model.
That is, and it can be so successful, and it's a passion. And thank you so much. You've proven that it works, and you know so many people, obviously, with that story that it has worked for as well. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us and our listeners today. And where can they find you, Mark?
So I would just go to thelandgeek.com, thelandgeek.com, and from there you can find all these other free resources.